Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Uncharted 2 Remastered Brutal Difficulty walkthrough. This is the 15th level of the game. It is entitled Train Wrecked. And funny story, right? I say funny, it's not really funny, it's more ignorance than anything else. When I first played this game on hard, way back when the game first came out, on the PlayStation 3, I thought that this chapter was going to be insanely difficult on crushing. Because the sequence where you're being hunted by the soldiers, I didn't really understand the stealth mechanics on the game, and I just thought, God, there's enemies that aren't in set places that are stalking around hunting for you. That sounds terrifying and incredibly difficult. I bet it's really hard. And then of course there's a second wave, and then there's a wave of heavies. And on hard, I think I did it on my first attempt, and I assumed that there would be no checkpoint. So you would have to do all three phases of that really tricky snow area, you know, on one life. So I was like, I'm not going to play crushing because it looks really difficult. And that section's going to be really, really tough. And I just, you know, I don't think the game's good enough to warrant, you know, the suffering kind of thing. And I never touched it, I just didn't touch it. And then I played crushing a few days back to unlock Brutal to start making this walkthrough. And then I realised just how easy this section coming up is. It's really well designed, it's really fun, and there's a bunch of checkpoints too. So I'd almost convinced myself back then, back when I was, you know, not the same gamer that I am now, that that moment was harder than it was because I was giving it a bunch of attributes it didn't actually have. And it was just my ignorance and essentially my own fear that it did it.
That's not a good sign.
And I'm trying to think when this game came out. I can't remember the year. Was it 2009, 2007, something like that? I think it's 2009 actually. And I'm trying to think what other games came out around that time because I wasn't really playing all games on hardest difficulties at that point, but I was still playing ones that I really liked on the harder difficulties, yet the concept of doing this really scared me, and I don't know why. Like, really, really silly stuff, but this first sequence, you can stealth everybody. I get super unlucky though, and a dude sees me when he fucking shouldn't have, and he shoots at me and it ruins it, but I get every single guy but one on this first area. The problem with this is the path that they take. I think it has a random variable to it. I don't think they always move in the exact same circles, but I could be wrong. The reason I haven't been able to test it is because I did this on my first attempt. So it's always tricky to be like, this is what they're going to do every time, because I only tried it once and it worked. And I would love to try every strategy multiple times, but then the walkthroughs would take so long to make. And the problem with my walkthroughs is the same problem my channel has, you know, nobody watches it, so all that work for very little payoff is very difficult to justify at times when I can be doing other things. But this guy here had a little look around. I'm going to watch his pattern a little bit because, once again, this was my first attempt, so I wasn't thinking about even passing this section. I was just thinking about learning where they were. And then I try and grab him, I miss, and like, what the hell is that? I love the fact that it's there, and it's the dumbest takedown I've ever watched, but how strong is Nathan Drake that he can just do that? He straight up tossed a man onto his own head. And he made it look really floaty too, like it was made of hemp. But I move across here, going cover to cover. There's a guy just there. We know there's a guy high up on one of these carriages, and he's the one I'm moving towards. He's just up there. So I sit against this cover, watching his pattern. He comes all the way back towards where we are. He doesn't see us in this cover, even though, you know, if he had eyes, he would have. Then he goes back the other way. So as he goes back the other way, I'm going to capitalise, I'm going to take him down, and then I'm going to move from that position of power up there to the guys that are left on the ground. And the cool part about this section, is if you do die between the waves, it puts you in a really good position to kill the next wave. So after this one, there's going to be a bunch of dudes that spawn and jump over that thing that's blocking the way to our right. You can throw a bunch of grenades and kill them all as they land. And then you'll have one or two dudes left. You might even kill them all if you're good enough, or you have enough grenades. Then you get a checkpoint, and then the three heavies that turn up, if you get killed on that phase, it spawns you just before the heavies turn up. You're in kind of a neutral position, and then you can just run behind you, pick up a grenade launcher, and kill the heavies really easily. Only problem is, hitting heavies with the grenades is kind of random too, because the grenades have this randomness to them. They bounce about, they stop dead sometimes, other times they don't. And I killed the first 2 guys pretty consistently, and then the 3rd guy takes a bunch of grenades and doesn't die, and I end up having to beat him up, which is not what I intended, and hopefully not what will happen to you, but it happens to me, so you need to be aware of this. So, I take this guy out, and then I got seen.
He's alive.
Yeah, I don't know how he saw me, but he did. And he starts shooting, and he comes really close. And it's one of those things where we play a little bit of a ring around the roses on this box. Here he comes. He's all stealthing. He's all ninja-ing. So, I use the corner exploit to see where he is. But he's walking around, and there he is. And then I break his neck. So right now there's going to be a crossfade. And right now, chuck a bunch of grenades at where that fire is. Go into cover, toss a ton of grenades. If you're quicker than I am, they won't have a chance to run away like that guy just did. They weren't the best grenade placements, but they work. And you can spawn kill all these dudes effortlessly. He's the last guy alive. Once he's dead, you're going to see another crossfade, because the heavies took me out. Oh, I'm going to run across and pick up the grenade launcher, it seems. Maybe there isn't a crossfade. Did I do it on one attempt? So there's a grenade launcher. Immediately... Oh, that was a bad shot, Chris. Damn it. So right there, did that kill him? It did not. So I think they take 2. That definitely killed him, but didn't kill his friend. It's annoying. That definitely killed him. So they take 2 grenades. That's okay. That makes sense. What I should have done, shot this guy with a grenade, pick up that M4. He takes a deagle as well. How dare he take the Desert Eagle after the grenade? You jammy bastard. So I try and do some blind fire, but it's really not working. Then I try and do some cover stuff, but he's winning this fight just because he's got better aim than I have. I run out of bullets. I come down here, and now we're going to get all fisticuffs on him. Marcus of Queensbury, bitch. Let's do this. Where is he? Where's he gone? There's the foul, and he should be climbing down in a second now. Get him! And then this gets a bit messy. So there's... See that then? There was no slowdown. There was no triangle prompt. There was no way to counter that, and I don't know why. I don't know why there wasn't any slowdown. And I asked on Twitter if anybody had any ideas, and Big Benedict, another YouTuber, mentioned that on the first game you could do like crazy combos against people where you delayed pressing buttons and it did certain attacks, and I think you can't get countered if you do that. But I don't know if this game has that. Like, I've looked in a lot of places and I haven't seen anybody mention that stuff. So I don't think that is the same here, but I just don't know enough.
I'm gonna bleed out or I'm gonna climb out.
But you know, if the game had a manual, like games used to have, you'd be able to look in there, and hopefully it would be in there. But these days, it just literally tells you of how not to die from fucking seizures and epilepsy, and, you know, please don't sue us. But thank you for watching. I hope you don't have any issue with that level, and as always, you take care now.